This is gonna be good.
Congresswoman criticizes gaming companies for increases in digital extremism. Representative Lori Trahan recently took gaming companies like Microsoft, Sony, and Epic Games to task for not doing enough to combat digital extremism. Yeah, because this is the biggest problem we face in the U.S.
Yeah.
Digital extremism and harassment are sadly a part of the online gaming ecosystem, and at least one congresswoman is trying to do something about it. So one congresswoman has no idea what to do to warrant her paycheck. Representative Lori Trahan, a Democrat from Massachusetts, reached out to major gaming companies such as EA, Epic Games, Sony, Microsoft, and others on issues of harassment and extremism in online games, and her office recently released a summary of the responses. After reading through responses from top gaming companies, I'm disappointed that the majority of companies failed to address some of our most urgent questions, including providing us with their policies around extremism, as well as transparency reporting around these topics, Trahan said in a press release. I'm disappointed that this is what you're spending your time on, Lori. The press release also cites a study from the Anti-Defamation League that states that 15% of gamers under 18 years old and 20% of adults report encountering white supremacy online. The study also says that 3 in every 5 children have experienced harassment playing online games. This is what next? They do this, then what are they going to do about kids that get bullied on the playground? Is Lori Trahan going to go around to every single school in the United States? Are all your kids playing nice? As Axios notes, several of the top companies responded with concrete measures. For example, Epic Games said that hired 1,500 specialists to address player reports, and Tencent said that it prioritizes reports from accounts used by minors. Several companies stated that they plan to use AI tools to detect problematic comments from players. However, according to Trahan, 9 of the 14 responses didn't mitigate or assess extremism in their games. This action prompted a response from the Entertainment Software Association, which states that the industry takes this issue very seriously. Yes, because like I said, this is the most pressing issue we have in the United States in 2023. What do you think of this Lori Trahan, if that is her real name?
She sounds familiar, though.
Well,
I think I heard of her before.
what do you think of this garbage that she's saying? I mean, like I said, game companies. Yeah, it's one thing if like someone is on Xbox Live and is constantly harassing you or spamming you with messages or stuff like that. But at the same time, it's these companies are not going to go around like Big Brother and make sure everyone's acting nice.
Yeah, it's.
What do you,
I mean, because if she's around the age group, though, she's got to be at least in her 30s, no older than in her 40s. And I guess she's a gamer herself personally, and she wants to experience like what Anita Sakazee went through, to the point that, like, something similar to where Anita Sakazee went to the United Nations and complained to the entity to that, they've been harassed on online gaming and such. And I'm like, look, like, all you gotta do, and to any gamers out there who are new to the situation, if people harass you, just block them and mute them. That's all. And I don't understand this congresswoman, what she want to do with this matter, because we already have the mute system, we have the block system, we have the report system. What more do you want? And if you don't like the trash talking, if you don't like the atmosphere to where you enter yourself into, then why are you still staying there? If you don't like, if you can't take the can't take the heat in the kitchen, get out the kitchen. It is what it is.
not to mention, I just looked her up on Google. This woman's 49.
Oh wow, she's like my mom's age. Okay, all right.
Yeah, but I mean, of all things that are going on today, and all things that are expected to happen, this is what she wants to spend her energy and time on.
She probably sees some potential in like gaining a following from the gaming community. So those are like transgender or LGBT or something where it's like very like the Hogwarts thing, for example, with all the transgenders, all the activists for transgenders trying to fight against, which I don't get it, because all your fighters that people just want to play the game that J.K. Rowling, who has nothing to do with the game, just has relations with it via copyright. That's about it. And you expect them to not play the game because of what? Because J.K. Rowling said something bad about transgender people how many years ago on
Because she
Twitter?
said something bad. Yeah.
Yeah, like these Congress people, the Hogwarts bashers, who are called them like that. It's they had nothing else to do. They had nothing better to do. There's no issues that are concurrent and very solidified in today's world because they've been solved many over the last several years now. From like 20 years ago, maybe you can say this shit about harassment in video games because there are instances where a 13-year-old was having sex with some 30-year-old, 40-year-old woman on Xbox Live back 10, or from Xbox Live conversations back like 10, 12 years ago. If I remember correctly, back in 2011 this happened, 2010. And, that was that one incident. But that was like how many years ago? We haven't had anything like that since. So what more do you
Right.
want from the gaming community? We already have features where you can censor yourself or at least block people from your other accounts and all. So what more do you want? Unless you don't know how to do it yourself. Like how much more attention do you want from the public? And I think this is her one way to get that kind of attention, this Congresswoman. But she wants to address it to like Elisa Keys to the United Nations, go right ahead because all you gotta do is just block and mute the person. That's about it. I mean, I got my enemies on Xbox Live that dealt with it. I gave them how many chances over. Tell them like, hey, stop fucking with me, man. I don't know who you are, where you're from. Like guys like Al, for example. Let's call him Al. So this Al guy, he harassed me, called me nigger every time because he's friends with my friends. So kind of like, I got blocked and muted because of my political beliefs. But I blocked him for harassing me, called me the N word several times over every time I try to talk at a group setting. Because he's different in political differences than me, or a different opinion, or different outright, straight up facts in the gaming world, in the gaming community at large. Because I'm 35, he's 18, 19, 20 years old. I'm like, I don't got time for some kid fucking around with me like that. So that's why there's the block and mute button. So what do you want, Congresswoman? Like, what more do you want from people? Like, it's frivolous. Just stop it already. If any congressman, politician that wants to fight harassment in gaming, just talk to gamers, ask them what are the measures being in play for the matter. And if it's already there, the block button, the mute button, that's it. What? It's just frivolous. That's all.
Again, it's a politician who's out of touch. Like you said, most gamers, I mean, this whole white supremacy thing. Oh God, if they think now is we have a problem with white supremacy, let's open a history book to some of these Congress people and show them what real white supremacy was.
And I bet she's a Democrat too, right? This Congresswoman.
Yeah, Democrat from Massachusetts.
And the Democrats were the ones behind the creation of the KKK and all, and Jim Crow and stuff like that. So who we're fooling? I see the bullshit 10, 12, 15 years ago when I was like, I got tired of the Democratic machine or the Democrat Party or the Democrats altogether or the lifestyle or the thereof of Democrat, because it's hypocritical. You tell me you want rights being maintained and ordained, but then you're the ones who created these outright discrimination laws over the decades in the history of the United States. So who are we fooling here? So this Congresswoman's best just to calm down, sit down, be quiet, and focus on other issues like the Patriot Act or the Healthcare Affordability Act, because those issues have been invading people's privacy for the past 10 to 20 years now. So she can focus on something like that. Do I have to be congressman to show you the guys what I'm talking about? Like, come on now. I don't think it's easy to be congressman, but still.
But the thing is, what really frustrates me is she just shows what real what Democrats are like today. They gotta have their hands in everything, even if they know nothing about what they're getting their hands into, and they're just gonna screw it up if they do get anything changed. And if you wanted to focus on something like this in 2019, when people are actually having, when people were actually making money and being able to put money away, and food didn't cost an arm and a leg at the grocery store, then you could do something like this. Now, we got plenty much bigger problems than extremism in gaming.
Yep.
And to people in Massachusetts, when this woman's term is up, just vote her out. She shows you what she's doing with your tax dollars as salary.
And,
to,
and I want to say one more thing too, Triple J, before we move on. If you want to prevent sexism or racism or discrimination from others individually, just block and mute them. Like I did with Al, or what someone did with me as from a guy named King Khan, whatever, because it was like my opinion because I talk about politics and once in a blue moon. It's to my friends, knowing that like it's not just some solidified, thing online, just not to talk about nothing but politics. But it's because like, come on, people, like this is. As we get older, it's more yes. As we get older as gamers, we're more in tune with the political arena, the political aspect of things, but in the end, it's just entertainment, gaming. That's all it is. Just leave it at that. And to those that annoy you, just block them and mute them. Simple as that.
Yeah, so ready to move on?
Yes, I'm ready to move on.
All right. First wave of Xbox Game Pass March titles announced. Get ready to rock and rumble with Game Pass this month. Xbox has announced the first wave of titles coming to Game Pass in March, with the list including a fighting game heavyweight, classic strategy, and an RPG with the Studio Ghibli influence to its visual design. Guilty Gear Strive, the most recent entry in the long-running Arc system, works fighting game series, will be available from today on Xbox consoles, PC, and cloud-compatible devices. Featuring a rich roster of heavy metal brawlers and stunning Unreal Engine visuals, this Guilty Gear is also one of the more approachable games in the series and looks great in action. On March 9th, Dead Space fans can dive back into EA's survival horror series when Dead Space 2 and 3 are available to play through Xbox Cloud Gaming via EA Play on March 9th. The release of Dead Space Remake this year has reignited interest in the terrifying series. So if you're looking to explore space stations and alien planets infested by necromorphs, you'll be able to easily do so while you're on the move. Valheim, the brutal exploration and survival game set in a world inspired by Norse mythology, will be available in game preview mode on Xbox Series and Xbox One from March 14th, and the historical strategy game Civilization VI will be available from March 16th for console, PC, and cloud. Lastly, RPG fans can experience Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom on console and PC from March 21st. This version of the beloved fantasy game is the Prince's Edition, which includes all the DLC that was released after Ni no Kuni 2 originally launched in 2018. Game Pass subscribers can also look forward to a few updates this week for titles available through the service. The Fractal update for No Man's Sky, Mutant Invasion for Fallout 76, and Season 3 Echoes for Halo Infinite are all now available. As usual, several games will be leaving Game Pass, we covered them earlier, to make room for the new arrivals, and you could say goodbye to Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Paradise Zero, and more on March 15th. So are you interested in any of these games? Guilty Gear Strive, Dead Space 2 and 3, a preview of Valheim, Sid Meier's Civilization 6, or Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom?
Well, I already have, what's that called? 2 and 3. That's Dead Space 2 and 3, right?
Yep.
I already got them for the games with gold, so no big deal on that part. But I do want to try out Guilty Gear Strive. I downloaded it on my living room Xbox. Took about a couple days to download it on, but think about playing that with you guys sometime this month as well. Because I never heard of Guilty Gear until like 2019, 2018 when the Guilty Gear Strive previews came out of the game. So basically, back in 2019, 2018 was my first time hearing about Guilty Gear because I don't remember any of these games back 20 years ago of the series. I heard of Kings of Fighters 94 from 1994 to 95. I heard of games like Tekken. I heard of games like Dead or Alive and all. I mean, but I never heard of Guilty Gear. Like, this is one of the most astounding things I never realized until recently. and it's like interesting. It's pretty cool. It's yeah, it's interesting. So yeah.
Yeah. I got Dead Space 2 and 3 from Games with Gold when it came out there. Um, None of the other games that are coming out though really interest me.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
So I really got nothing. Not even Guilty Gear. I never heard of it either.
Well, they had good music in the game. With a game called Bullshit's Blazing, still my heart is blazing. If the word kills me, I'm in the New World Order too. Some shit like that. It's like some good weed music. It's like, my bullshit's blazing, still my heart is blazing. If the word kills me, yeah, shit, son. And there's also the other song, "Oh Lullaby." And I was like, "Still my heart is facing." And there's some biblical shit going on about it. It's basically based on the Holy Bible in a loose term sense of Guilty Gear. I found out because back the first Guilty Gear, the first 2 or 3 Guilty Gear trailers of the first 2 or 3 Guilty Gear games, they showed a Bible passage based on the book of Matthew or the book of Revelation, one of those passages, and it was like, wow, it was based on the Holy Word and stuff like that. So I guess you could say it's very offensive to be talking about this stuff in gaming because of the legit of politics and gaming and stuff, but it's something to look into as a newcomer of Guilty Gear. So yeah.
All right. So yeah, so these titles are coming. They'll be here during the month of sometime in March, depending on the game. You ready to move on, or?
I was going to say though that it's a good thing I came across the latest Guilty Gear game, because after all these decades I never heard of Guilty Gear. It just amazes me that for 20 years I've been focused on Tekken and King of Fighters and Dead or Alive, but never Guilty Gear. I never heard of them until like 2018, 2019, until they came out with their tracks on the official soundtracks and such. So look into these soundtracks, guys. You might like them. So Guilty Gear is available to you guys on the PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series right now as we speak. So yeah.
Okay. So ready to move on?
I'm ready.
All right. Next, RoboCop Rogue City shows off action-packed gameplay trailer.